Hey everybody, Dr. Heldman here. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great summer. We're pulling into August now, kids getting ready to go back to school, stuff like that. Um, I want to talk to you about a pretty interesting discovery. It's actually a really old discovery, but there have been some new archaeological discoveries of late, and it's called the Madaba Mosaic Map. Let's get started and take a look at this. This is super interesting. By the way, I lost my computer. That's why I haven't uploaded anything in a few days. My computer completely died. I had to go buy a new one and get it all up and running. If you've ever brought up a new machine before, it takes a little while, especially when you've got other things going on. So anyway, that's why I've been out of pocket. First of all, let's take a look at, this is Google Earth here, and you can zoom in and out. And one of the things I want you to notice here is that this is Jerusalem to the west, and there's Bethlehem to the southeast of Jerusalem, Hebron down to the south there. To the east of that is the Dead Sea. This is the Great Salt Sea. It's the Dead Sea. And just to due east of that is what is called the Madaba Archeological Park. Now this is in Jordan, so this is the country of Jordan here. Topologically, you can see that there are mountains to the east. This is all pretty much basic desert area, little plateau here. And if I click this, what it will do is brings up pictures of Madaba. I want to show this to you. These pictures are good. I went around looking a little bit to try to find better pictures, but actually these are pretty good. So I'm just going to show them to you right off of Google Earth. Here's what they look like. This is the Madaba map. Well, this is a thing that's built into the floor. Let me talk about that first. If you go to Israel or Jordan or wherever, what you're going to find is that they took little tiny stones, maybe a half an inch by half an inch of different colors, and then they laid them into concrete and they made shapes like this. So they made pictures and shapes and things like that. And it's pretty interesting. Tiberias is one of the oldest synagogues on the planet, and it still has an intact floor like that that's made out of these tiles. Very, very interesting. This is St. George's Church in Madaba. It's a Christian church, but Madaba is in Jordan, so I'm sure that likely the majority of the people that live there are Muslim, which is neither here nor there. I'm just saying that this is a Christian church sitting in the middle of Madaba. Here's another design on the floor. It's very interesting. To your right here, you can see some writing here. It's kind of upside down. It's in Greek. This is very, very interesting. Madaba goes back to about 500 AD, and so the writing on the walls was in Greek. This is what the church looks like. There's Madaba, City of the Mosaic is what it's called. So it's super pretty. They've done a really good job. Look at that. There's the Greek. You can read the Greek there. And what happens is you have this map. Let me see if I can bring up the map for you now so that you can see it. You have a map that's very, very interesting because it shows all of the things going on in the Levant during that time, during the period of the Greeks. Look at that. That's beautiful. This is all, there's so much work in this. Back in the day, this was the Bronze Age. You know, you're just tick, tick, tick away with a little copper hammer, and you're hammering out all of these little tiles, putting them into place. This is a lot of work involved here. Now, I want to show you a news article, and I'll put all this in the comment section. This is out of the Express. This is a UK newspaper. They say, this is what got me going with this Madaba thing, because I love biblical archaeology. It's so interesting. And they say that archaeologists discover an ancient 1,500-year-old town mentioned in Holy Land maps. So then you come down here. Here's a picture of where they're actually doing the archaeology. Let's jump back to Google Earth real quick so that you can see where that is at. So let's see if we can place that. Let me get out of here. This is the Madaba Archaeological Park here. However, that is not where the archaeological work is going on. It's going here, down here. It's in the Iraq Governorate, which is, like a state in the United States or elsewhere. Jordan has what are called governorates, and this is in the Iraq Governorate here. But we're talking about the city of Ai right here. It's mentioned in the Bible. I'll put the scriptures up there for you. And also you should notice here that we've got what's called the King's Highway. So this highway goes from clear down from the very, very southern border up to the north, clear up to Lebanon. And it's called the King's Highway. And it's a full-on highway, signs and markers on it and everything. Anyway, the archaeological group is centered here in I. I'll just click that and see if we can get any pictures here. Yeah, it's pretty desolate. You can tell if there's only one picture of it. But if I go back here to this discovery site, this is what it looks like in I. And let me show you the map here. Let me get rid of this breaking news thing here. Here's what they've uncovered and what they've discovered. There's all kinds of evidence of people living in this area back in the day. Remember that this is right around 500 AD. They found a grape press, an olive oil press, a water mill. Here's the stones that are entrance to a church. And here is the Madaba map. Now, this isn't a super good likeness of it. There are better likenesses of it. I'll show that to you in just a minute. But the main idea here is that everything is written in Greek, and it is it's not meant to be an accurate map from a cartological perspective. We're not creating a completely accurate map. What we are doing is we're showing you all of the sites in the Levant during that time. And I thought I'd show you another website here. This guy does tours through Jordan. This is actually a tour facility, DannyTheDigger.com. And there's a picture of that map. I'll show it to you in a little bit better way. So here's what the Madaba map looks like. Now, the main thing that you should pay attention to, this is the city of Jerusalem right here. And we know this because we can read the Greek up here. I'll show it a little bit better to you in just a minute. This is St. George's Church here. This is located in Madaba, Jordan. So it's to the north yet of I, where they're finding all this stuff. This is the floor of St. George's Church is what has this. This is the oldest known map of the Holy Land, also known as the Levant. And then I said, let's go to Google Earth to see it, and I took you there already. And then this is partially what the inside of the church looks like. Now, this is a picture of a flyer that you can get when you go to the church site. This flyer shows you what the mosaic map is showing here. It's got the linkages up here. You can't read them very well. This is a legend that's taken off of a piece of paper, so it's hard to read. But this is Jerusalem, and then Bethlehem. It tells you where the Dead Sea is at and things like that. That's the point with the map here. And then finally, I wanted to point out to you how to read this Greek. So this would be a fun little detective exercise for you to go through and see if you can highlight all of this Greek and get it to tell you what it means. Like, for example, you could natively read this even as a U.S. English speaker or any kind, UK English, Canadian English, it doesn't matter. If you're an English speaker, you can probably read this, Benjamin. I think that's what it says. But look up here. So this is saying this Adia Doizika. I don't know what that says, but it really means the holy city of Jerusalem. So this H is just saying the holy Aria or Adia, and Polik. This is from the Greek word polis, which is plural, and it means city. And then here is the spelling of Jerusalem, but it's missing the ending delta H and M there. This is saying the holy city of Jerusalem right here. So this corresponds to the number 1. This is Jerusalem right here. And that number 1 right there is where we're looking at right there. And there's the phrase that I was highlighting, the holy city of Jerusalem. Now, the big takeaways with this are, first of all, this is east of the Dead Sea. It was a very, very active place back in the day when, the Hebrews, the Greeks, the Romans, very popular. Masada's pretty close by on the southwest there. And so this was a big place to go. Lots to see along the King's Highway, lots of trading merchants going along the way. And then somebody built this mosaic. It took a long time. The estimates are that it was somewhere around 70,000 hours to build just this little piece of the mosaic. It's in pieces. There aren't a lot there, but it is the world's oldest cardiological map representation of the Levant. And so that's what makes it super interesting. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this movie. I know it's short. I just wanted to do a little bit of explanation on it, get a movie out there for you guys so that you have something. I'm working on more. I just have to get the bugs worked out of this PC, and then I'm moving onward. But I think I'm 98% there. So thanks for listening. If you like my channel, please subscribe to it. Share this with your friends. I might do a more in-depth video of this, but I kind of doubt it. I think I'm going to move on from here because this is about it. That's about the story that can be told here. And I might do a movie on the synagogue in Tiberias. That's very interesting because it's a floor like this. You can't imagine the work in these things. When you see that, you're like, well, I wouldn't want to sit there and put in all these tiles, but they did that. This one in Tiberias has a full, what you would call a zodiac, and so that's got some interesting implications to look at. But anyway, share this with your friends. Tell your friends about it. I love doing this kind of content and this kind of research and sharing it with you guys. I get really excited about this. And I will talk to you in the next video. Baruch Hashem. Have a great day. God bless.